Hello, Isaac in Portugal. Welcome to the last team standard training about the closing phase. So we have discussed about the building phase, about how we do team creation, team plan, and individual plan. We have seen performing phase, results elevation, performance tracking, and support system. And today we are closing with the closing phase, the team debrief, transition, and individual debrief. So the closing phase in one sentence or two is the team individual debrief on the experience in terms of development and results and suggestion for next steps. This is the stage when transition happens. Firstly, there is reporting of results. Basically, in this step, you need to realize a team performance review based on the individual performance of each member in terms of plan versus achieved in your KPIs and MOS. Then you need to identify with your team the main achievements and bottlenecks that you had and analyze the reasons behind them in order to find suggestions on how to overcome them for the next generation. Based on the team members' inputs, you need to summarize the three main learnings that you have as a team and to leave them for the next generation. Then there is the team development review. In the review of the team development goals, you need to gather everyone's inputs in order for what was achieved and what was not, and give inputs of what are the next steps basically that each person should have in order to keep developing themselves. Then you need to reflect on the team development on how it could be enhanced. So what are the next steps for each individual based on these development goals that you had. Then we go to feedback. The feedback content should be focused on giving inputs and perspective to teammates for the team experience ahead, in or out of Isaac, and for the next steps. Use the individual results for the individual debrief, and take feedback for your team management and leadership as well. Then the next part is transition. I have them all together because they are very correlated. We begin with a knowledge and skills transition, so it is to ensure to equip your successor with key knowledge and skills needed for responsibilities and tasks. It can be done through shadowing, simulations, and working side by side. There is the document and tools transition, which is transferring all meeting minutes, so the outputs of every meeting, then tracking tools and reports to the successor. And lastly, it is suggestions of next steps and way forward, which is gathering main learnings of things not to be repeated and suggestions for improvement. Basically, what you need to do is to arrange a TL to TL transition with your successor and use the transition framework that is given to you to evaluate the current knowledge of your successor and identify what necessary knowledge and skills you need to give them during transition. Based on the team that the elected team leader is in charge of, identify the functional knowledge and skills required for the team leader to be ready to lead the team to perform. Then you need to transit managerial skills, for example team standards implementation, to the successor in order to have the mindset that 70% of the team leadership responsibility is implementing the team standards. And lastly, make sure to have practical transition or shadowing when transmitting practical managerial skills, hosting team meetings, accountability system, PTP, one-to-one, lead space, team working time, and team review. Then we go to the final LDA. Some do's are to reinforce importance of seeing difference between initial and final LDA. Prepare yourself before the meeting, your perspective, feedback, insights, tips, etc. And then check each LDA individually to compare with initial results and write them down in order to be ready. For some don'ts, don't misunderstand the data. If any LDA score went down, it means something changed about the member's current moment and perception about life and the experience. Help them with that perspective. Then it is the individual debrief and the final personal development plan review. So what you do need to do, listen to your member on how his or her experience was, and make sure you give constructive feedback, meaning highlighting both the appreciation for the member's work and evolution and improvement points. Make sure that you set next steps with them. Some don'ts are to guess how the experience was and use data and facts to prepare yourself before the meeting. Thank you very much. That was the closing phase of the team standards for Rising in Portugal.